I'm Josh Polanski. I'm a film critic. I actually live in Grand Rapids, Michigan, and I used to live in Boston. And I cover Baltic cinema, both for the Boston Hassle as well as for my own website, therewereNoGodsLeft.com. I believe it's the only column on Baltic cinema in English that's still publishing. And with the Boston Baltic Film Festival, I do introductions, Q&As, and also my coverage, which includes interviews with several of the filmmakers. Several years ago, when I was still living in Boston, I think it was the year after the COVID festival, and I believe I've covered every year since. I think I really got into Baltic cinema through the Boston Baltic Film Festival. I've been to POF. I've covered it 3 times online as well. And as well as some other festivals online and beyond. I've recently started covering some of the classic films, including things that are on various online archives or things like that, including the Baltic poetic tradition, the documentaries. I've covered a lot of those as well. I've noticed that Lithuanian film always seems to find a way onto my best of list at the end of the year. And I watch a lot of films, a few hundred new releases a year. And I think I've had a Lithuanian film on there at least the last 2 years in a row, and maybe even more than that. Thomas Vengries's 5.5 apartment, Love Stories in an Apartment in Vilnius, Lithuania is one of my favorites. I think I've seen that 4 or 5 times. And I really love how controlled he is with the camera and how it doesn't leave the apartment. And it's, in some ways, I think it speaks to the poetic tradition of finding the beauty in the everyday life, which you have to in the Baltic countries where you have less budgets to work with things. And I find that makes filmmakers more creative. And then I also really loved Renovation. That made my best of list last year, and it was really high on the list too. I want to say number 2 or something. I saw it again last night on the big screen for the first time, and I love it even more now. I think that the online platform is a very helpful part of that too, because it extends beyond Boston, and people are able to catch things all over. I was talking to a gentleman earlier today that was asking me about one of the Lithuanian documentaries that was streaming only online, and he was like, "Where can I find it?" And I was like, "Well, good news for you, it's online." Of course, it's great that it's breaking into other streaming platforms as well. I think one of the most important streaming platforms has been part of this, and full disclosure, I've also written for them and been on their podcast, but is Klasiki, which is a new streaming platform dedicated to Eastern European cinema. And there's a lot of Lithuanian stuff that'll be on Klasiki, kind of on and off, including now. I think one of the really important parts about the in-person festival is all the filmmakers come, and that you're able to hear from them directly, interact with them, learn from them. I think that's kind of an indelible part of the experience of the festival, of any festival.